What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the Den, man. If you're not familiar with the Den, shit, I'm not familiar with the Den because I haven't been doing enough dens lately. I'm just fucking with y'all. But welcome to the Den. The Den is where we can have uncensored opinions, where we can have friendly conversation. And even if we don't always agree on the topic, hey, in the end, we're all friends in the Den. I hope everybody is doing well this evening. I think we're going to have a pretty interesting topic. And I don't know. Again, I got to kind of, I know generally, you know, I'm used to being viewed on one particular side of the topic. But, you know, my thoughts, I've been kind of going back and forth on this one. But today we're going to talk about the consequences of the Me Too movement and how it may do more damage to women than benefit women. So we'll get into it. But before we get into that, I want to say what's up to all of the friends in the Den. I hope you are all doing well this evening. I don't know why the little counter don't work no more. It used to work. This counter just done broke. A little raggedy counter. Ain't that a bitch? So let's see who we have joining us. Heidi, how you doing? ckin, Eastside Hero. Good to see you. Gave you power. What's the motherfucking deal? So interesting topic at hand. You know, I was reading an article, and I shared a little bit of it on the Vincent, what's the motherfucking deal? And I shared a little bit of the article on Mr. Rabbit. Good to see you. A little bit of the I keep saying argument. I'm gonna learn how to speak this English. I'm working on it. You know, English as a first language. the article on Instagram, and there were a few interesting pieces that I shared. And you're never ready for the women bashing. But a few pieces that I shared, and I found some of this stuff pretty interesting. And basically what they're saying is happening in places like Wall Street, and I guess I'm sure there are other professional circles or professions that are mainly dominated by men, which is probably the majority of them, except for like teaching and nursing or something. And we're not even going to get started on teaching. That's a whole other conversation for another day. Jason S., good to see you. So, what they're saying basically is something is happening called the Pence effect. And if you're not familiar, Mike Pence, who looks old as shit. He's not really that old. He looks old as hell. Medicine is women now. Well, good. The old medicine woman. Congratulations. Go to a fucking doctor, problem with my penis, woman checks it, hits me with a Me Too. Great. Can't even get good health care now. So Pence has this situation with his wife, basically, where he is not allowed to go to dinner with any other female colleague alone. Or basically, I don't even know if at all, but mainly alone. I think there has to be a third party or whatever it may be. And, people look at it in different ways. Some people say, oh, he's a fucking cuck. His fucking wife owns him. Or he may be a smart man. The other half say, well, he's not going to get caught up into the Me Too bullshit because, he brings a third party along. And the thing about it is generally, and this is where I'm going to start getting into some of the detail where I find it kind of sketchy, because then you can really get into a very interesting situation. So when people say, a lot more people are doing this now, again, in the business world, upper management, things like that. So they talked about, there was a lot of the mixers and functions that they'll have at a lot of these places, when they have, not seminars, what's the word I'm looking for? But, when they go gather, they have little gatherings across the country for people who may be in that profession or whatever. And the guy was talking about, he basically canceled a lot of his after work socials and things like that because they would drink, and he had a penthouse or whatever. But because the women were outnumbered, so he felt it was the right thing to do. Now, some of you may feel like, well, we got to stop having fun because, women could possibly feel uncomfortable. That seems unfortunate. You got to start bringing, you can't accept a proposal from a female colleague who may have something in an idea or thought and confidence that she wants to share with you because you're afraid of the possibility of her, hitting you with a Me Too. Are men being paranoid, or are they, I see what you did there. Are men being overly paranoid? Or is it the smart thing to do to avoid the possibility that, the possibility that you could get hit with one of these situations? Now, do I believe that all women are malicious? No, but I think there's a significant number of them. And that's not saying a majority. That's not saying anything. Significant could be 1,000 out of a fucking million. That's still a significant number. 1,000 is significant in any way you want to look at it. Well, somewhat. But there are, for people to act like it doesn't happen, that's my problem. And again, one time is one time too many. So be it one time of a female getting harassed, getting raped, anything of that situation, that's one time is one time too many. But one time of a man getting falsely accused and losing everything he's worked for is one time too many. We've seen an influx. I won't even say an influx, but we've seen recently, I don't think it's changed. I'm pretty sure. I wish there were statistics for it, but nobody cares when you're found innocent. They just sweep you under the rug. How many instances you see of these guys, in college, and let's be honest. Well, I don't know. Some of you guys haven't been to college, but I'll be honest with you. When I was in college, and I didn't even tell people I played football. I didn't really try to promote anything like that. It wasn't like U of H was a super large program. Just me being in shape, being sizable, brought a lot of attention. There were times, like I say, there would be parties I'd end up in. Chicks would come up, oh man, I remember seeing you, in the UC, and I'd see you there all the time. Like, I've never seen you a day before in my life. Then on top of the fact that she finds out that, I did play ball or I was affiliated with the team or whatever, did I take advantage of it? I don't think so, because I wasn't the one that brought it up. She's just the one that happened to find out. But did it make my path that much easier? Possibly. I don't know. I like to figure out. I like to think that I had the good game. But either way, the situation at hand was that she basically made it easier, not more than just a she, multiple she's, they made it easy in college. But then you come back, you hear a lot of these stories. I could have been any one of those dudes that you hear about now, having sex with a chick. She thinks she's going to be your girlfriend now. And next thing you know, it doesn't work out like that. She was just some one night hype. And now you raped her. Now you go to jail. You miss out on an NFL career, whatever it may be. You've seen several of these stories as of late. Some of these chicks be wilding out, man. Like, trust me, I'm not gonna go into too many details. I've shared some stories in the den, probably shared a few more stories on the mixer, but some of these chicks be wilding out, man, and they be with the shit. That's as much as I'm gonna say here, but they be with the shit, and it's a lot. That's why I say it's hard for me to believe a lot of these stories. I've told you I've had chicks hit me with some false shit, from way back. And thank God that there were witnesses and people there that knew, and just people who know my character. No, I'm not going to take no fuck. It's too much pussy on earth for me to ever try to take some fucking pussy. Like, it ain't no pussy that good that I got to take it. Like, trust me. I have no problem with the stiff arm. I have no problem with the Heisman. No means no. All right, well, you with the shit, you with the bullshit. You got to go. No? Okay, well, I don't want to cuddle. No, I don't want to hang out. No, you got to go. Yes, adios, bye. And you will have bitches who will try to hit you with some shit because of that. But like I say, this is a whole other conversation. But we're talking about the consequences of the Me Too movement and how it's impacting women. But you're talking about a lot of women in these professions who want to move up, who want to be successful. They've dedicated their life to a particular field. They've gone to school. They've dedicated years of their life. And let's be honest, at the top of these professions, the higher up you go, the more male it is. The percentages drop. They decrease. And a lot of these professions, if you're talking about, legal, you want to be made a partner in a law firm. Again, as far as mentorship in the finance world, and I'm sure there's plenty of others, but I'm thinking these are just the ones that are kind of primarily coming to my head because of reading an article recently. But the opportunities are less and less for them now, because again, what man wants to mentor a woman and take that risk? You have to be few and far in between, because let's be honest, guys have a certain sense of personality, a certain sense of humor. Everybody has different personalities, and especially when it's more guys around, you got a lot of positioning, you got a lot of posturing and a lot of things that men say and do. But now you have to kind of adjust the whole system because, now there's a woman here. We're afraid of getting hit with the Me Too. We're afraid of saying the wrong thing. We're afraid of getting put in a situation or accused of sexual harassment. But what they're saying now, the consequences of this stuff is a lot of these situations are becoming more of a boys club. It's going back to that exclusionary thing because guys don't want to take that risk. They don't want to get caught up in some shit. It's not that they're not open and they're not welcoming to women, but they're almost afraid now to include women because they still want to have their same, the Pence effect. What's up, Charlene? Good to see you, man. And so basically now they're saying, hey, well, we want to do the guys thing, or, the women don't get invited to those after work socials or those things like that. Now it becomes, it strays away from sexual harassment, but now it starts to get viewed as sexual discrimination. And so it's almost like a lose-lose because now do I have to change who I am? Do I have to change my entire personality? Do I have to rethink my life and live according to someone else's rules, someone else's dogma, someone else's views, if that's not what I agree with, but because I don't want to lose my job that I've worked so hard for, or I don't want to lose my position that I've worked so hard for. Black people get the same thing. You have to watch. Yeah, and I agree. And that's why I say there's a lot of similarities when you look along the lines of sex, race, sexual orientation. You know, it's a very thin line, you know, and you know me, I don't really give a shit. I mean, that's just me though. Some people are going to be much more sensitive to that because I'm not going to let, you know, words. Now actions are a different thing, but I'm not going to let words affect the way it is. Oh man, let me tell you, I went to a restaurant today with the lady Honcho. I don't think they've ever seen a black guy in their life. You would have swore that they had. It was like a little old cafe place. And I go in there with some construction workers and some other motherfuckers in there. Bald-headed white guy trying to look at me at the corner. I make sure I gave him a good firm look. I see you, buddy. It's all right. You know what I mean? What did I have? Made a bad decision. Going to a white restaurant and ordering street tacos. It was what it was. I think the lady Honcho had a Reuben sandwich, and then we had got these stuffed jalapeno things. It was so. But again, you know, a situation where, you know, you've worked so hard to acquire your positioning, you've put together your networks and all these things. And again, like you said, one false accusation, and just an accusation, it could be proven wrong. Which, like I said, we talk about the football players I was mentioning earlier. These guys have been proven. The chick said she was like the two guys, I think they ran a train on her, and she said, oh, well, she said it was rape because she didn't want her boyfriend to find out, which was a lie. It was a lie. Because if any one of those guys would have said, hey, you know, shit, you can be my girlfriend, now I'm going to the NFL, she'd have dumped her boyfriend in a fucking heartbeat. Okay? Heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? But what it was is she thought that it was going to be a situation where, oh, you know, I got the power of the pussy. These motherfuckers gonna love me, and one of these dudes gonna make me their old lady and take me to the NFL with them. That's what she was hoping. It had nothing to do with her boyfriend. And if that was the case, you know, that ain't the first time she cheated on her boyfriend, because she went double dutch. So, you know, she didn't even dip her toe in the water. Well, I'll just, you know, mess with this guy. She went ahead and just dumped all the way back in the action. So anyway, again, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We may talk about the Reuben Foster situation before it's all said and done. But again, but at the same side, let's talk about the women, you know, who worked hard, because the Me Too movement, honestly, only benefits women who are in politics and entertainment. Politics, I say this because this gives you a platform to stand on so other women can be like, yeah, you know, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in other places. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in other professions. But I'm saying where you benefit the most because you have people looking at you and paying so much more attention to you is entertainment and politics. You can stand on this whole women's rights platform and, you know, I'm doing this for the women, and, you know, all this is for women. And so you get more votes because these women really think you're giving a damn about them. Yeah, it doesn't benefit Garb. Exactly. If you're low level, they don't give a shit about you. It's not helping anything at all. My thing is, look, if I walk in and you get quiet, I'm gonna say, what the fuck y'all talking about? What y'all scared of? Well, y'all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Look, what you afraid of? Say what you gonna say, because I'm gonna say what the fuck I'm gonna say. You say at the top level, women are tougher, but at the same time, and this is what I'm saying, but they're still caught up in it. And I believe it, because for a woman to get to the top, she has to be tough. She's made sacrifices, probably with family, if having a family at all. You know, she's maybe put the motherhood thing on hold, or if she does, she allocates time and, you know, whatever it may be. So she's had to fight to get that position. She's had to compete. But now she's hit that glass ceiling, not because of her work, not because of her effort, but because of some guy doesn't want to be in a situation where he has to be one-on-one with her. They were saying some of the practices that they've implemented to me now is, you know, not to sit next to your female colleagues on flights, to book hotel rooms on different floors. But what does that mean? It ain't like you can't hop on the fucking elevator and go get some hype. But anyway, not going out one-on-one to dinners and things like that because of the fear. But that brings me back to earlier. What I was saying is, you talk about having a third party, and how does that work though? If you're a man, one-on-one with a female, you bring a third party. What if it's two men and one woman? Is that still not the same situation? But then what happens when it's two women and one man, a la Louis C.K.? But, how does that work? Because I think you're still in a position, if it's two women and one man, they can collaborate together and still come up with something. We're talking about false accusations, because anybody who's really getting Me Too'd, who's really getting harassed, of course, that's not acceptable. But what I'm saying are these people who've come up with these false accusations or these petty accusations. And I say this because there's plenty of them, but I always refer back to the Aziz Ansari, because that's the one that just blew my mind. The one with Morgan Freeman, when he's talking about the story that the guy next to him is telling. And the woman says, well, he was looking at me and he said, I wish I would have been there. And motherfucker wasn't talking to you, you goofy bitch. But yet she tried to turn it into something. But again, the problem with the Me Too thing is this, and this is how I think you relegate, you fix a lot of these problems. Yeah, I couldn't say the word right, so I changed it up. Fuck y'all. Women need to call out more women for these false accusations. They need to call out more women for the false accusations, because then that minimizes these bitches who come out with the bullshit, with the fraudulence. And then you handle the real situation. Motherfucker have done some dirty bullshit, then hey, it is what it is. But what happens with a movement is it creates this emotion. It creates this feeling that people want to be a part of and want to be caught up in. And yeah, me too. I got one time this guy at Burger King, I was ordering a Whopper with cheese, and he looked at me when he gave me my receipt. I felt so violated. Well, bitch, you came in the fucking restaurant with mustard on your face, so fuck you. It's just, yeah, and that's what it is, man. Like I say, it's a lot of shenanigans. And my thing is, like with the Harvey Weinstein thing, is what he did despicable? Probably, yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. But again, how many of these women felt, well, me having a career in Hollywood and being adored and being a star and being all this is worth more than my integrity at the moment? Because I'm sure a lot of these Harvey Weinstein don't look to be in the best of shape. Easily could have walked out. The Louis C.K. thing, this motherfucker, they said he was beating his meat on a fucking bed, and they couldn't have got up and walked out the room. Then they talking about their careers were ruined after that. How? But the funny thing about Louis C.K. is he was talking about all kind of sexual perversion while he was doing all this shit. Cause I remember I watched that stand up he had the other day. Said the Me Too movement started by a black woman. And what happened to her? That's what I'm curious. Like, how did she get Me Too'd? And so, again, and the funny thing is, you have all the white knights who come in and try to stand up. Yeah, you leave those women alone. You son of a bitch, you Me Too'd me back in '96. And it's like, oh, well, goddamn, motherfucker trying to come up and, KRS-One, that's awful. And a motherfucker, they'll come hit you with some shit, from way back in the Gap because of whatever. I said, wish the motherfucker would be too big. I don't give a fuck. Hey, it's gonna be some old bogus ass bullshit because I'm not the one. I'm not the one with that fuck shit. So, there's the sound of police. But again, you says what someone says to me, who cares? Yet say black guy walks in recessive subhuman society because they are, well, subhuman, have fear, they follow the devil's point of view. Okay. They say the Me Too movement essentially wants to destroy and make the males miserable, especially the white male. Because here's what it is, man, and I'm gonna tell you what it is with a lot of people is people feel like a certain person they have all the power. And instead of saying, okay, well, here, let's do what we got to do to acquire the power of our own, we want to just try to undercut people and take it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with that shit. You say the best bet is to buy the pussy nowadays. Less problem that way. Look, and get a receipt if you do. You say Tarana Burke. That sounds like a bad name. Sound like tarantula. I'm gonna write that down and look into it. But again, like I say, but I want to talk about though how the women are hindered though. I want to talk about how the women are affected by this, and these false accusations, what happened is now guys don't want to mentor women who want to move up, the women who want to do the work, the women who are working hard. Like I say, it only benefits a political positioning because you get out there and you make these broad ass bullshit statements and these women rally behind you. Yeah. And if you're a man and you don't rally behind, well, you must be a sexual harasser. You know, they put these false allegations on you. And I'm like, it's craziness, you know? You say Shannon didn't get all quiet like, oh yeah, Shannon, I saw that shit, man. Yeah, I saw that shit when Shannon went off today. You know, he was talking about the cream hunt. Well, it's a difference. And that's what blows my mind is the fact she tried to make it seem like you should hold NFL athletes to a higher standard than police officers and doctors. Like, that's what bothers me. Like, that's my thing. Like I say, because I try to play everything objectively. You know? Like I said, not that I'm saying that there ain't racism. Yeah, there's racism, but I'm not going to let that control me. That's not going to be the thing that breaks me because the same way, you know, motherfucker, well, you know, it's us against them. That same motherfucker use your same race to play you too. So that's why you got to be cautious. That's why I never let race be the first factor in how I determine shit. But the fact like that bothers me the most with like these police situations is that motherfuckers sit here and try to hold everybody else to a higher standard than police officers. You're trained to uphold the law, supposed to be trained to uphold the law. And so what you do is, well, they made a mistake. They got a tough job. Well, then they should be better at their job. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Like, my issue with cops, honestly, is it race? Is it racism? Probably a lot of it is in the sense of a fear of another race, because a lot of them get put in situations where normally they wouldn't even interact with people of that culture, of that style. So it's more of a fear than the racism, because they're more fearful of what's going to happen, and they got a badge behind them, and that's, you know, it is what it is. My thing is, you need better trained police. You know what I'm saying? And that's honestly what it is. You got a lot of people who are afraid of what they're doing, but they're in it for the benefits and all the other stuff, and they feel like they got a little bit of power because they got punked in high school. You know, a nigga that took their old lady and probably punked her for all that shit. Now, I know a bunch of motherfuckers who became cops and they wasn't about shit in school. They used to get punked, hoes wasn't fucking with them, you know, and so they feel like now they're doing something. When a lot of these motherfuckers do more dirt than a little bit, and I know for a fact they do more dirt than a little bit, but because they got a badge, people look at them like, you know, whatever. And so my thing is, you need better trained police, because that way you wouldn't be so fearful of these situations that you get in, and you wouldn't have these things. You said a dude you beat up in high school arrested you. And that's what I'm saying, man. Used to be some motherfuckers I went to school with, and they used to tell me, man, I walk past like I don't hear them hoes. But they said, look, I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with y'all like that, dog. Like, I have no associations with you. I didn't fuck with you back then. Like, I'm not fucking with you now. You know what I'm saying? I say beat down a black person, come to find out. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You hear a lot of those situations too, that you know, cops arresting cops, beating up cops. And that's why I say it's a lot of crazy shit, though. It's a lot of crazy shit. And it's like I say, it's a lot of these motherfuckers are driven by an instance that happened in school, and that's what motivates them. But again, you know, not to get all the way off on that tangent, that's another subject. But the fact that she tried to justify holding a police officer to a lower standard than an athlete, it baffles my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the people who are supposed to protect and serve and, you know, prevent loss of life, to make sure that justice is served and all this other stuff. This guy just runs around with a football, because when it comes down to it, when it's the opposite way, when a motherfucker got to kneel and, you know, do all this other shit, oh, no, they don't do shit anyway. All they do is run with a fucking football. All they do is play a kid's game. But yet we got to hold them to a higher standard. Like, blows my mind. Like I say, all these double standards. But again, that's not the conversation we, you know what I'm saying? You're like, that's not the conversation we're having, but I mean, let's just be realistic about it. You know, like I say, I will never harp on something to the point where it's going to hinder me. I'm gonna speak my mind about it, but at the same time, you got to put everything in its place and how it goes. Exactly. You know, motherfuckers, when they playing for your team, you love them, but when it's somebody else and they you don't agree with them, you hate them. You know, I've seen people talk about, oh, why would they go get Kaepernick? The Redskins, he hasn't played in years. Shit, McCoy didn't throw a ball since 2016 or some shit like that. Fucking Mark Sanchez was out the game for since like 2015 or some shit like that. So I mean, like, come on, man. Like, these excuses that people make, it baffles me. The double standard. Like, I'm a person, like I say, whether I agree or disagree, you know, there's a standard that you have to operate with. You got to have like a legitimate code. You can't adjust the bias because of, you know, preference, race, political party, like shit like that, like, you know, sex or whatever it is. Like, it has to be the same code, man. It has to be the same code. And that's why I say, so even if like we're of the same skin tone, but and if somebody else says something, but I agree, I'm not going to pick just because we're the same race that we're black, so I got to agree. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you conservative or liberal, because you're saying something, well, I'm not going to adjust my whole way of thinking just to side with whoever I whatever party I associate with more. And that's what kills me, man. And it baffles me. Like, I can't rock like that. So that's why I say sometimes we'll be in here and people going to agree with me, and sometimes people going to disagree with me. But I ain't tripping either way, because it's the way that I am, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But getting back to it, to the Me Too movement and all that other stuff, because I went off on a little side tangent. I'm already on a tangent, going on a side tangent. All right, Jason S. Hey, you checking out? Did you check in? But again, like I say, with the Me Too movement, man, and I talk about, a lot of people just want to be a part of something because it makes them feel validated. So they'll take situations that really weren't Me Too situations, that they'll sit here and say, I appreciate that, My Town Trill. They'll take situations that aren't really Me Too situations and say, they'll try to blow them up into something. You know what I mean? And it really isn't. You say, yeah, I disagree with you on Kaepernick. It's about the kneeling. It goes way beyond that. Well, my thing is, I can understand what you're saying, but my thing is, people who are saying it's not because of his politics, it's not that the NFL has, this, that, or the third going on with him, or the fact that people say, well, we entertained the conversation. No, you fucking didn't entertain the fucking conversation. Like, just my thing is, like, why even mention his name? You know what I mean? But you can talk about Sanchez, you can talk about all this other stuff, but I'm talking about people in particular. The teams, they can do whatever they want to. But I'm talking about people I've had personal conversations with who will sit there and say, well, it's not about any of his politics. It's not about that. It's about the fact that the dude, he's just not that good. So you're telling me Kaepernick's not better than Mark Sanchez? He's not better than Colt McCoy? He's not better than Kessler, Bortles? Again, yeah, it's just, let's just be honest. He fucking did something that a lot of people disagree with. It's the politics, whether you with him or whether you not. It's the politics. Just admit that. That's my thing. It's a lot of people who sit there and try to justify that, oh, it has nothing to do with his belief. It has nothing to do with the kneeling. Yes, it fucking does. It has to do with his politics and his beliefs, man. It's politics if you feel a certain way about cops. That's, fucking police sheriffs or whatever, they get elected. That's politics. So my thing is, though, getting back to the damn women. So you're trying to change the subject, Heidi, because the women are wrong and you don't want to admit it and you don't want to hear it, and it turns the frogs gay. Well, that's the end of the day, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. But my thing is this. What's the saying from Paid in Full? Shit, niggas get shot every day, B. But my thing is, though, is this, though, with the women's situation, and I'm really concerned because, like I say, I believe in equal opportunity for everybody. Are all people equal? No. Are all people created equal? Yes. But as soon as you're born, the equality ends, and the position that you're born in, the way your parents make an effort to bring you up, the culture, the society, whatever it is that you're in, that's when the equality starts. That's where the differences come in. So yes, we're all born equal. We all come out the fucking pussy. Well, some of us were C-sections and probably got knocked on the head coming out. Maybe a couple of test tube babies in this motherfucker. But my thing that is this. It says that the white male has privileges. I think that there are, I don't want to use the word privilege, but in a sense, yeah. Because in numbers, you have advantages. There's advantages in numbers. But my thing is, why can't you go and create the same thing? That's my deal. Like, why can't you go and create the same thing? And, like I say, some people agree, some people disagree. And I feel like you use it as motivation because, whether you agree with it or not, my mom used to tell me, hey, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to work twice as hard to get, half the respect or whatever it is. Okay, cool. So when I actually used to give a fuck and I was in gifted and talented education, all that shit, I used to shit on them fuck kids. I always had my work done. I'd be sitting in class, kick back. I always had the best grades when I actually did the work. It was never a thing. Then I started, wondering, well, I'm the only black kid in these classes. What's going on in the other classes? Them other kids, they look like, this, and this. And I started fucking myself. I want to go hang out with the rest of the niggas and, messing up my own opportunities. So that's on me. I don't blame anybody for that. But that gave me an advantage to work harder. So my thing is, excuse me, that's motivation because whoever you are, you should want to work harder than the next man. So even if it's true, if it's not false, excuse me for burping your ear and all that good shit, but you should want to work harder than your competition. That should be motivation, even if it's not the truest motivation. But if it's motivation to make you push harder than the next man, then you need that. There is advantage in numbers, point blank period. So again, now skill should always win out. But if you're taking two people of pretty much equal skill, I'm going to take the motherfucker I feel more comfortable around. So if you bring in a man and a woman that are the same skill level, like we're talking about the Me Too thing, well, I don't have the problems of dealing with a possible Me Too lawsuit with this woman. She's no better than this dude. They're equal everything else. We're just going to avoid those other issues. So we'll bring him in. Same thing if it's the majority white company and the black guy, white guy, same skill set. Well, I'm comfortable saying, talking this particular way. And is it a character flaw in me? Maybe. But I don't want to have to deal with a possible problem if I say some of the wrong things, bring him in. So that's why I say you should be motivated to want to work harder. Now, am I saying it's wrong? No, because I say all kind of, like I said to you, I say some of the most racist fucking shit in the world, but I'm not on camera. But sometimes when I am on camera, it is what it is. But my thing is, you say white males aren't suspect on sight if you were to walk past them at night. And that's what I think, shit. And here's the thing too, and I would have to agree with you on that, because you walk by a white person now, you're not thinking shit of them, but you walk by a nigga now, you're going to think twice, just because it's been ingrained in you from the movies, from everything else that you watch. That's why I say I cut a lot of bullshit out, because they'll have you, not trusting your own people. And that's a horrible way to be. Said if open borders continue, black people soon be 5% of the population. Yeah, absolutely. Because they're talking about, I forgot what it was projected. I don't know if it was like 2050 or 2040, something like that, that I think Hispanics are going to be like 50% of the U.S. population, and blacks are going to decline. One, because of the rate at which, the abortions and things like that continue, rate at which, we're killing each other or dying, period, point blank. And so, one, we don't have an influx of other blacks just coming in, from connected border. Africa's a little ways away, and then when you're not growing at the population, when we're taught to hate each other, despise each other, we don't trust each other, we don't even do business with each other. Then you have like Hispanics, Mexicans, shit, these motherfuckers don't have social security cards. These motherfuckers pulling off the lot, brand new motherfucking F-150s and shit, shining in a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just, it's they work together to grow. Like I said, I remember, working construction, and trust me, Hispanics will put each other on. A lot of these jobs you got to be rec in, recommended. And I've seen guys at a job site don't know a motherfucker. He's just coming up, about to apply for a job. Like, shit, you know somebody? No, he's like, man, look, I'll recommend you and bring him in. You know what I'm saying? What's the motherfucking deal, Jay Dizzle? And so my thing is, this is what I've seen, but I've seen niggas be feeling like, shit, there's only room for a couple of niggas, and they won't look out for a nigga. But at the same time, I don't blame them, because we talk about this too, because sometimes they come in with an attitude, a bullshit ass attitude of, shit, of entitlement. Like, what's the shit you hear niggas be talking about when they go to it? Let me tell you what I ain't gonna do, or I ain't finna, you know what I'm saying? I ain't doing this, or I don't get paid enough to do this. You got to have a different mind state, as far as certain shit. You say Africa's the next China. Yeah, Africa gonna come up though. Now, I'm talking about here blacks in America. I'm not saying that Africa ain't shaking. Africa got some stuff going on. Look, I might have to have to holler at my boy Akon and go slide, cha-cha now, y'all. But, and I definitely agree. I agree that, but you're talking overall, I'm talking about here in America. I don't think so. Like I said, in America, look, the Mexicans say, look, y'all thought, y'all want to remember the Alamo. I got y'all motherfucking Alamo. Remember the taquito, motherfuckers. So if you woke up tomorrow, white Honcho, you would have to leave about 5. Shit. I'd definitely be out of there. I wouldn't want it though. I would want to be no other way, because what I think you get a lot of people who would trade in a heartbeat to hop on the other side. And like I say, this is not, what's the word I want to use, to condemn anybody, I guess, to talk bad about anybody. But I wouldn't change for shit, man. I wouldn't change for shit. And that's what I'm saying, though. But that's happening in Africa. But what's happening with African Americans? What happened with black people in America? That's my thing. Like Africans, they got it. Like them motherfuckers, they come to America and take over. Like why don't Africans have the same problems as African Americans? That's like my thing. Because when you have that conversation, you talk to Africans, they don't see issues the way these motherfuckers come here and they take advantage and they run with that shit, But it's the motherfuckers who are born here who feel like something else. You know what I mean? We can talk about slavery, we can talk about all that other shit, but man, that shit then came and went, and ain't nobody getting paid for that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nobody look. You can wait on them reparation checks if you want to, and the thing about it is, if fucking Trump said, "Hey, motherfuckers," I was talking to Melania. She gave me some good ass last night. I'm feeling so good. I'm gonna give you niggas y'all reparations checks. What would happen is the money would flow back into the hands from whence it came. Because without the right mind frame, without the right mind state, niggas would do what? They would go do the shit they saw, or they see these rappers and shit doing. Niggas would go buy some fucking rims. They're going to go buy some cars. They ain't going to invest shit. They're going to fucking go to the Gucci store. Gucci going to look, I'm investing in fucking Saatchi and Gucci stock. Some Saatchi stock. I don't want no Saatchi clothes. I want some Saatchi stock. They going to motherfucking me go and buy some shit. I'm finna invest in Jordan. I'm probably invest in some Apple shit, because niggas gonna go and they go motherfucking me. They gonna fucking spend the money right back, because that's where the mind frame is gonna be, and that's my exactly guns. But and that's what kills me, because the thing is, if you can figure it out and you can start small and build something, then when you get to the big shit, you'll be able to sustain and maintain. But if you don't have that right mind frame, then you're going to lose, man. You're going to lose every time. Motherfucker win the lottery, hit $100 million, while most lotto winners are broke within 6-7 years, because they don't have that right mind frame. They got lucky and then didn't have the education, didn't have the sense to do it, or, it's just going to be, poor investments. If it is, it's going to be investments in things that aren't sustainable. And so, like I say, it'll be very unfortunate. And who they murdered by their own motherfucking family. Their own motherfucking family be plotting, why this motherfucker got lucky. He just won the money. He ain't earning. Why can't I get some money too? And that's why I say this shit is all crazy. I said, if I won a lottery, man, nobody would know shit. I wouldn't tell a motherfucker a goddamn thing. You would not be able to tell. Like, but I wouldn't be stunting. Shit, not around the locals at least. I go overseas and ball out of control, make it rain in a Peruvian strip club. But my thing is this, man. Shit, you can you got the right to disclose this shit. Yeah, but what they be doing is they go to the store where you say, well, because I remember the one, the motherfucker who won the billion still ain't claimed that hoe. That's what they were sitting there saying. They were saying the one who won that $1 billion lottery or whatever, that still has not claimed that bitch. And it was from a little store in South Carolina or somewhere. And like the dude said, he thought it was one of his regular, like, shit. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slide back to the store. Look, you tell anybody I need that motherfucking tape. You tell anybody that I motherfucking me, look, your ass going to be motherfucking me dead. Look, I'm finna funnel that hoe through 2 or 3 different channels before that hoe ever get cash. Like, shit. This was from a fund or some shit. But, but again, like I say, say they aren't as driven because, African Americans are in poverty, they still get aid from the government aid. Yeah, I would agree. You say African Americans still in the hood, they're too loyal with their gangs. Gang. They ain't want to let me join the gang. I tried. Not bullshit. But white privilege, dealer roof, shoot up a church, the pigs, like that, Burger King. Man, that's what I say. It's a lot of crazy shit, because it's been a couple of niggas now. What kills me is, like the NRA, and how they always talk about, well, the only way to stop gun violence is a good guy with a gun. And I think niggas need to open their eyes, because you had 2 or 3 situations within the last couple of months, weeks or so, that have happened where the good guy, the black guy with the gun, is trying to stop a situation, legal gun owners, and cops pull up on the scene and kill them. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I don't be trying to save nobody, man. I'm trying to save my own ass. Look, I'll give you some words of advice. What you do with that, that's on you. The dude at the club was in Chicago, and I think it was another one in somewhere in the South. I don't remember exactly which state he was in. But then the cops actually came back, oh, well, we thought we had got him, but, it turns out he wasn't. So the dude basically dipped out on y'all ass. Y'all killed nobody else, and he's sitting there probably laughing. He done dipped out. They killed the wrong nigga. They thinking they done some shit. And that was a nigga trying to alleviate the situation. But, again, it's fucked up. But, it's the world we live in. But getting back to the women. And so how do you stop that situation? How do you end that situation? If men are afraid in these higher end professions to mentor women, to, associate with colleagues on business trips, they don't want to socialize with them afterwards. Like I said, it's basically taking it away from sexual harassment and almost making it pseudo-sexual discrimination, even though that may not be the intent. They may feel like we're just trying to protect ourselves. How do you find common ground? How do you find a platform where both men and women benefit, without fear? You know what I mean? So you give them the same amount of time. Oh, absolutely. But see, that's the thing they don't want to do. That's what kills me that's what bothers me big time. And I agree. Like, how are you allowed to lie? How are you allowed to fabricate a story? And then months, years later, you can come back and say, well, I lied. And it's like, oh, well, shame on you. A little slap on the wrist and you're allowed to go on. You know what I'm saying? You're allowed to go on with your, is that what we're getting into? With your life, like the chick who had, the one who was it a Brian Banks? And then she got all that money, a couple of $1 million, while this nigga sat in jail for a couple of years. And then nothing ever happened to her whenever when she found out that she was lying. I ain't want to have to do that to you, Jay Dizzle, but it is what it is, man. But when they found out that she was lying, what happened to her? Well, you need to pay the money back. Well, I ain't got the money. Oh, well, shame on you. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like that. And that's what I say. That's why the risk reward factor is, why not? Why wouldn't it? Because I look at it like this. Do I think all women are doing that? No. Like I said, I think if a woman has worked hard and she's been, trying to grind and get there, I don't think she's just going to run out and say, oh, me too. But think about it. You have people along the way. Men do it too. People get disgruntled. People get discouraged. And so say you've been working hard. You get passed up. Maybe you don't work as hard as you think you do. Maybe you feel like you deserve a little bit more. You feel like you work hard enough, but you don't realize how much work these other people are putting in to be better than you. And so, you know what? Fuck this company. Fuck this partnership. Fuck all this. I'm going to catch one of these motherfuckers slipping and I'm going to lie. Happens all the time, man. Happens all the fucking time. How do you protect yourself from that woman? What if she just one day, I'm tired of working hard. I'm tired of all this. I'm going to hit one of these motherfuckers with a Me Too and basically extort them or ruin their career. Or I can ruin their career and get them out of here and I can get promoted. But what happens is, like I say, you get a lot of these women who are allowed to make these false accusations. And what happens when they make these accusations, their names are never put out in the public. Never, ever. But you run this man's name through the mud, the accuser, the accused, or whatever, even when found to be a liar or whatever it is, never get put out there. Never get put out. We must protect, the accusers. We must protect those who are making these accusations. Okay, well, what happens to the person when they're found not guilty? Nobody goes back and says, yo, we need to recant these statements. Nobody goes back and says, hey, this didn't happen. You look at old buddy, because I think about old buddy from the fucking Texans who was here. Not saying that he was going to be a star in this league, but who knows? You never know. Sometimes it takes a couple of years for a motherfucker to break out. Never had another shot with an NFL team. Never had another shot. He couldn't even go back to school for a few years, and it was found out that the chick was lying. Yeah, Mumphrey. Because the bitch wanted to have sex raw, but he didn't want to fuck that bitch raw. So I don't even think they ended up having sex. The shit went to a little case that they had in Michigan, because I think I don't know if the draft was the next day or his pro day was the next day or whatever. Niggas shouldn't have been trying to fuck around on Tinder anyway. And he basically, they found at the little hearing that he did nothing. The dude goes on to the NFL. He done forgot about the shit. He thinks it's over. But the victims are allowed to file an appeal. They sent an email to his school email. The dude is not in school anymore. Wink, what's the motherfucking deal? The dude is not even, they sent it to his school. This dude is in the NFL. You think he's really still using a school email? So he never gets the notification that he has to go show up for the appeal. And because he didn't show up, they automatically find him guilty. Never knew all this shit was going on. Said he went back to Michigan State for a golf tournament or something like that. Somebody walks up to him and tells him that he's not allowed to be on campus. Basically, he was barred from campus for like 4 years. So after all that, didn't do anything. She was mad because he ain't want to raw dick the bitch. And so she thought she was going to come up and try to get pregnant or do something dumb. This is why I say hoes are scandalous. Like, do I think every bitch is that way? No. But a lot of them are, because this culture in America is starting to breed this mentality. I mean, all you got to do is scavenge Twitter for 2 or 3 minutes. You'll find exactly what you want to see. And a lot of them, you may think it's jokes, but this shit ain't jokes. You know, it's a lot of truth in jest. But the fact that this man lost his NFL career because then all this shit comes out after it was proven innocent, Texas just let him go. They don't ask no question. They let him go. Him and the other Michigan State dude who was roiding up or whatever. And he never had a chance. Not another team looked at him, hadn't entertained it. Nothing for something that the man did not fucking do. And I think he was supposed to be they even had him on Fox. I think he was supposed to be trying to Bullet, that's what it was. I think he was supposed to be suing the school, but I don't know if he could sue the chick or not, because, you know, well, she probably ain't got no fucking money anyway. But it doesn't matter. She can go on and have a career. Nobody even knows who the fuck she is. She could go on and falsely accuse the next man and the next man and the next man, and nobody would ever fucking know. I recently saw one of a chick who ended up had falsely accused like 14, 15 guys of rape. And they finally figured it out. And I think she ended up getting like 5 or 6 years in prison, which she ain't going to do all that time. She may do, 2 or 3. But all these guys who have been falsely accused and had their names dragged through the mud and had to deal with all these court cases because she's crazy and she's a lunatic or she wanted something out of the situation, will never get their lives back in order. May have families, may have whatever, but will always be believed to be that, because when you look up those names, the first thing that's going to come up is that old news about their bullshit, not about, this isn't, this wasn't true, we recant these statements. Nobody goes back and deletes those articles. Nobody says, hey, he was found not guilty. No one cares. Well, look, but here's what I'm saying. Whose fault was that? Because OJ had to go to trial. It wasn't, OJ's name wasn't hidden. Motherfuckers knew what it was with OJ. It wasn't like, well, secret former football player is going to trial. There was nothing hidden about the OJ situation. That was on the justice system. That was for them to figure out. And at the same time, I ain't mad at no nigga. If you basically paying alimony or whatever the fuck, and your bitch is basically got a new husband, but she just don't get married to the motherfucker because she want to keep collecting that check or whatever it is. Shit, save a little change these days. Money tough to come by. That's all I'm saying. Hey, I actually use a lot of shit. But my thing is, but the thing is that he was brought to trial. That was the justice system. I have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he did that shit. Everybody knows he did that shit. Yeah, fucking OJ did that goddamn shit. But he went to trial. Whose fault was it that old buddy was a racist or whatever and fucking all that other shit up? I would be honest. Nobody thought OJ was finna beat that shit. Nobody thought OJ was beating that shit. The only motherfuckers who believed that shit was the Dream Team. Man, I remember that. Like this is how you know the white folks did to it, especially because we watched that. I was in like third grade or something. We watched that shit in class. We watched that shit in class because we finally got us one. God damn it, shit. That's why we was having. We finally got one. God damn it, shit. It was like fuck it, we got one. But his dumb ass couldn't stay his ass out the fucking spotlight and took his ass right back to fucking jail. So that's my thing, you know. Because there's been a lot of people who have been railroaded by the fucking justice system. A lot of motherfuckers where you like, fuck it. You know, we won one time. But my thing is, again, you know, it is what it is. But like I say, you know, you falsely accused me of some shit. And if my life was to ever get ruined behind some shit like that, I don't know what to tell you. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna talk. You better make sure whatever moment it was worth it. But that's what it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, had OJ been anybody else, had OJ been your regular dude, had he not been the juice, we wouldn't be talking about that nigga at all. It'd be a non-factor. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be a non-factor. If he didn't have that fucking, that panel of lawyers, OJB would have been gone forever. This dumbass motherfucker come back out and this is what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. I said if I was ever falsely accused, I'm not gonna say nothing because I may say something that could incriminate me in the future. But women do need to speak out. If it's a real deal, if it's an actual situation, yeah, they need to speak out. But that's all I'm saying. But if I'm to be falsely accused and it was to ever ruin my life, oh boy. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Again, so here's the deal, man. We're gonna open up the deadline. I've been over here chopping it up, chatting it up, and all this shit. Fuck with y'all. Let me make sure everything is copacetic here. We're gonna open up the deadline. We're gonna take some calls and all that other good stuff, man. But again, though, and that's why I say, you know, it's funny though, because what you have with a lot of people, and I say it with women, I say it whether it's, you know, blacks, minorities, however you want to do it. That's why I encourage people to do their own motherfucking thing. Yeah, and it was super tense because that Rodney King situation definitely fueled a lot of it too. You know, can't we all just get like, hell no, nigga, we ain't trying to get along. But you know, well, look, Ray Rice. Look, here's the deal, though. Did Ray Rice's wife come out and say, "Hey, help me"? Hey, Ray Rice's wife. Ray Rice's wife. Say that 50 times fast. Ray Rice's wife. Had there not been a video, we're not talking about that. Not excusing it, but she made a choice. So what was worth it more, to stay married to Ray Rice and get her brains beat in, or to go to the authority and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I didn't say, I never said I was a good guy. I never said I was the good guy. But all I'm saying is, hey, you know, if you're in a situation, speak up on it. But my thing is this. She had a choice to make. Okay. She had a choice to make. So my thing is, did she go to the proper authorities? Did she say, hey, you know, this motherfucker's beating me up? Same situation. Running backs beating motherfuckers up, allegedly. Whatever happened with the Shady McCoy chick? You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened with the Shady McCoy chick? Because everybody made Shady guilty before anything happened, you know? Everybody said Shady was doing this, that, and the third. He beat this chick up, but then nothing comes to fruition. Nothing ever happened. Nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? How is it hypocrisy? Because what I'm saying is, so did when he knocked her out, was she not right next to his side? Was she not standing next to him? Did she ever go to the police herself? Did she ever contact the NFL herself? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say. You know, that's what I'm trying to figure out, you know. What the hell are you talking about, Jay Bird? Jay Bird just saying some more random shit. Yeah. You know, it was okay. Like I say, because women feel like it's okay because there's a reason. When a woman attacks, it's only because it's a reason. He probably deserved it. That's why she did it. Cause I'll tell y'all about that. What was that show? What Would You Do? And they did a thing where they had in public, they had a man, and he was aggressively talking to a woman, you know, kind of roughing her up a little bit. And man, all the Captain Save-A-Hoes came running from all around the park, and the women were, don't do that. But yet they reversed it, and it was a woman basically being aggressive and beating on the man, actually hitting him and shit. And motherfuckers walking by laughing and chuckling. And then so, you know, after people passed by, they asked him, hey, you know, well, why didn't you intervene? Why didn't you stop? Or, you know, why did you stop or whatever. Well, I was just looking at it, and I felt like he probably deserved it. You don't know anything. You don't know any reason, but it's okay. Me personally, I ain't finna get involved with nobody shit. If that motherfucker beat up on the hey, Jack, you know, that's I don't know what y'all got going on. And obviously this is something that you allow because you probably keep coming back to them because you, like I say, I've done my share in the past of trying to help women get out of shady situations, and they end up going back and putting me in positions to where I could have been in harm or I could have been arrested or whatever else. And then you just go right back to the motherfucker the next day. I mean, not even 24 hours later. Like, shit. I learned my lesson, you know. Fool me once, what is it? Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And so I'm not finna, you know, domestic violence ain't none of my motherfucking business, dog. Like, it's not. Hey, you, stop that. If y'all making a bunch of noise, I'm trying to enjoy my meal or something. Tell both of y'all, shut the fuck up, take that shit outside somewhere, you know. But as far as intervening and trying to save somebody, man, I'm not finna do none of that. Okay, here's my deal. What excuse did I make for Ray Rice? All I said was, why didn't his wife ever go report it herself? Did I say what he did was right? I didn't say it was right. Never said that sometimes you got to hit a bitch with a tiger uppercut. Sometimes bitch get out of line. Never said any of these things. I just said that why didn't she herself go and tell the law? It's an excuse to go tell the law that you've been accosted. That's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, my thing is about accountability, holding people accountable for themselves. So she's getting attacked, getting beaten up. At some point in time, she has access. The motherfucker got to go to practice. The motherfucker got to go to training camp. You know what I'm saying? So why couldn't she go call the police? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, why? Why didn't she? Was the money that good? Did she get hit so hard she forgot it happened? You know? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what if it happened once, it'll happen again. And most likely if it happened then, it's probably happened before. So at some point in time, she's accepted that behavior. If she accepted that behavior, then who is everyone else to intervene if she's okay with it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because you are accountable for your situation. Oh, let me see what we got here. I don't know if the sound is all appropriated, but let's see what we got. Oh, well, never mind. It slid back out. Here, y'all give me 1 second. Let me do a quick little sound check and make sure everything. Excuse me. Give me just 1 second. Hootie hoo, what the fuck you gonna do? Hootie hoo, what the fuck you gonna do? Hootie hoo, what the fuck you gonna do? Hootie hoo. All right, so here is the motherfucking deal. We're gonna break up on the den line, and here we go. So again, did he get beat? Yeah, a situation happened. Okay. And so after that situation happened, do you report it? Did he report it? somebody else recorded it and reported. Because what happens most of the time when you go to the police with police matters, they pass it down to the trash can. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in on the deadline this evening?
Hey, it's your boy Josh again, man.
Josh, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What do you want? What you want to drop at the den this evening, man?
Nah, but about the situation, man, I'm just saying with the Me Too stuff, man, it's pretty unfortunate that men's lives got to be off of accusations, the false accusations, man. But reminds me of a thing I've learned. I don't want to quote no slave owner, but you know, people when I forgot who really said this, but he was saying like, if there's no checks and balances, there's always going to be chaos. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just another reason why. I mean, like, once we start promoting and legislating stuff that's only one-sided, you're going to have more of this stuff happening and taking place, man.
I agree.
So really, like, it is what it is with that situation. So I feel bad for Kareem Hunt and everybody else, man, been falsely accused, and that Keith Mumphrey kid that had that kid Keith Mumphrey who had that career ruined over that female one of falsely accused, man. It's just something that lawmakers have to look at, man. And it's so sad that almost venture something else, but it's almost sad that like most people go after clout and attention, mind you, and that's why people have this problem, because I don't know if you heard that Cardi B nonsense about going out with somebody, having a kid, breaking up, all in one calendar year, man. It's just, it's sad. World getting crazy every day, man.
Man,
it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
All right, that's a bit, man. I agree, man. I agree with that. I appreciate you calling in, Josh. I got some stuff I'm gonna spill on that.
All right, man.
Already. That is a very interesting point. Speaking of old cardiovascular, that whole situation is shenanigans, though. That's what I say right now. It's all about fame and money and bullshit. And now the kid gonna be something. You have a little celebrity baby, motherfuckers gonna praise, motherfuckers gonna worship it. Like you get two bad rappers, but yet people have a following, and it's gonna just promote ignorance, and it's gonna promote more motherfuckers having little hood babies because, you know, I'm the ghetto queen of the hood, and I'm the dope boy in the hood. Well, let's have us a little ghetto baby, so the hood can worship a little ghetto baby. But my thing is, yeah, I just recently saw the part where we kicked. Oh no, Hunt. Look here, Hunt. Here's my deal with Hunt. Hunt shouldn't have done the cunt punt. Okay, that definitely wasn't the move. And I don't know how bad I feel about Hunt, because Hunt, my thing with him is, yeah, even though he came back and did the whole apology thing, I don't, you know, one, that was the least genuine apology ever. My thing was the fact that he, you know, you lied to your people. Like, you could at least, you know, tell these motherfuckers, you know, the NFL don't give a fuck about domestic violence. Like, they play that role just like they don't give a fuck about breast cancer. They play that role. Like, there's a difference between, hey, we're collecting this money to go towards breast cancer treatments, or we're collecting money for breast cancer awareness. Like, who's not aware of breast cancer in the year 2018? I think everybody's pretty aware of breast cancer. So, you know, the NFL is just collecting more of that nonprofit money. We're going to sell all this pink stuff, and we're going to keep the majority of it, and we're going to give 5% to some breast cancer foundation that Roger Goodell's wife manages, and she's got to get paid, you know, her dues and everything else. And so all this money gets made, and the whole $5 goes to a coupon for a mammogram. You would think that had a majority of men watching football, that you would talk about prostate cancer and male issues, but no, we're not going to do that. Nobody want to talk about putting a finger up your butt. So, yeah, you know, sometimes you can go find a fucking old sinner and shit. Well, you can find Jeff Saturday. You know, I used to bend over for Peyton Manning to hike the ball. Now I got to bend over to check my balls. Fucking be a fucking horrible commercial. Yeah, it'd be real bad. It'd be really, really bad. Yes, if you got man boobs, you'll get breast cancer. Jay Bird. Lay off the McFries. But again, man, you know, but I can agree with you. You know, false accusations will ruin men's lives. And about the quote that you said, you know, without checks and balances, you know, only chaos will ensue. But as far as Cardi B, cardiac, cardiovascular, and off key, offset, whatever. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, you know, I really don't want to be that guy, but basically, I've given up on the fucking rap music, dog. Here and there, I'll take some recommendations and try to listen to them, but anything like, if it's anything that Jay Bird recommends, that his taste, I'm definitely not fucking with it. Like, the new Meek Mill album is actually surprisingly good. I'm not a Meek Mill fan. It's actually pretty good, but anytime a nigga come out of jail, they gonna got some shit to fuck with. But again, and you know what kills me is like this world. Like I seen the chick who basically apologized and said, "Oh, she didn't know that the marriage was a real marriage." I guess whatever chick. But here's the deal: that ain't the first chick that nigga was fucking around with. She did that so she could get some more fame. You know what I'm saying? She did that shit so she could get some more fame. Now that Jay Bird has confirmed Blueface, that lets me know that's terrible. So like I say, like these motherfucking hoes like don't give a fuck that they hoes. They just they want to get promoted for being hoes, and niggas will fuck with that shit just because, man. And that's the thing that kills me. Like niggas, like it's a couple of things that have happened. And again, this has nothing to do with Me Too, but this is why I won't get Me Too'd, because I'm not that enamored with these hoes. Like, yeah, I love hoes, love bitches, but I hate bitches. Love hoes, love women. Or love women, like hoes, hate bitches. But I'm never going to be so obsessed. Like, I'm just not. You know, the only hoes I can still remember was bitches who was porn stars when I was young and feeble-minded. I couldn't even tell you what none of these new bitches' names is. And motherfuckers just be really promoting hoes, dog. Like even when I was doing the affiliate thing, as far as some of the adult stuff, like I didn't even know some of these hoes' names. I would promote that shit, but I don't fucking know this. Like, fuck these bitches. It's about merit and character nowadays. You know, I become more and more, I don't want to say disappointed, but it gets to the point now where I'm just like, man, I can't even fucking hear this shit. Like, rapping ain't motherfucker nobody talking about shit. Meek just came and like, I don't know if y'all heard this little Hot 9-7 shit. That boy been going off. He been on some new shit, so that's maybe why I'm fucking with what he got going on. But if it's just the same old shit, dog, we still talking about fucking cars, guns, and drugs. Man, I can't listen to that shit. That's why I say I can fuck with some Nipsey Hussle, because he talk about building business. Now you're gonna have a little ratchet shit here and there, but you know, it's about building business, about doing better. Like, that's the type of shit I can listen to. But if your shit is just about, we're gonna smoke a bunch of weed, we're gonna fuck a bunch of hoes, like, man, nigga done been there and done that shit, dog. That shit ain't worth rapping about. Hoes get on a nigga nerves, you know, shit. You can only get so high. Nah, I'm lying. You can fucking get stoned off your shit. But I mean, how many times can you sing about the shit, man? Like, tell me something new. I gotta check out that, who's it, Toby Ngakwe, or in whatever his name is. I heard a couple little things, you know what I'm saying? Little shits from him that I haven't really listened to. Damn, haven't really listened to his music, but it sounds like he got some legit shit going. Yeah, I'm not like, that's what I'm saying. Like, twerking is so fucking lame to me, dog. Like, I'm bitch, twerking ain't finna fucking impress me. I'm just, I'm seeing all the ass in the world now. Like I say, you know, when motherfuckers used to, you know, you used to have to take a little bit of effort to get the news. Now these bitches just throwing them at you. Here, look at me naked for free. I'm like, man, goofy bitch. Nobody want that shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no appeal to it. You know what I mean? Like we've talked about before, you know, dressing openly sexy versus conservative. And that's what a lot of these new age bitches don't get. They're so fucking dumb. You know, is they thinking, oh, that this overly sexy shit is class. It's not class. Showing more skin is not class. It's being able to show off your assets in a way, but still be, you know, like, I'm not saying being a tease or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, not showing everything out to everybody. Motherfuckers be, but niggas is trash too, because niggas love running behind other niggas' old pussy. Like, that's what I don't get. Like, these rappers will run up to the, like, niggas, as soon as a nigga leave that bitch, niggas trying to run up and start fucking with that. Like, man, I don't know who'd been passed around the Amber Roses and all this. Like, the shit just, I don't understand, dog. Like, you know, I don't understand it, man. Like, it's just, I'm over a lot of this shit. He says all truth music with rap. You don't even cuss. Word? Okay. Nah, I haven't checked that out. Like, I like a little bit of profanity though. When they twerking, fall into a fire. Let me write that down. NF. Alright. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it used to be about selling the drugs, not doing the drugs. You know, it used to be talking about macking on the hoes, not getting played by these old niggas about tricking. Now we just gonna pay the hoes. We gonna buy them purses and cars and stuff because we love these hoes. Look, man, look, all that's cool if you with that shit, but fuck all that dumb shit, man. Like, it's just it ain't what it is no more. Like, you know, you hate to be the one to be like, oh, my generation, but I mean, come on, dog, it's facts. Like, these motherfuckers is talking about, let's be pill heads, let's be fucking drug addicts, you know? Like, look, I'm telling you, look, I don't smoke a little. Like, it's been 6 months, damn near. Damn, we got a couple of days to be 6 months. But I need to smoke again. I need to burn some reefer. But I mean, like I said, this is from a person who, you know, I've had my fun along the years, but it ain't never been no, gotta do this every day, gotta do it all the time. You know, you have fun on occasion, a little bit here, a little bit there. But now, you know, it's all about, it's craziness. Yeah, let's be drug addicts and then let's blame everybody for our problems. You know, why can't we get, we're oppressed, but we're drug addicts and it's cool. And it's just like I say, man, this shit don't make no sense, man. Like, we want everybody to save us from ourselves, you know, but whatever floats the boat, whatever fucking makes the real motherfuckers money, because these motherfuckers getting exploited like a motherfucker, and they just happy to be on drugs and whatever else. But it's just it's not for me, man. So that's what I said. Like, I've changed the game up. I start listening to fucking motivational speakers and shit while I work out. Like, no beats, no fucking. I think some of the Eric Thomas stuff they'll play like little music in between here and there, but for the most part, I'm done with it, man. Like, it's gonna have to take somebody. Like, I'm not even listening to fucking Jay. Like, everybody was crunk about the little Jay verse, and Jay is cool, but at the same time, you know, it's a lot of shit going on with Jay that motherfuckers don't really. Everything that Jay say ain't all the way. It looks good. The image is there, but you know, it is what it is. I don't know. Now you might be on some of that cocaine. Can't tell the drugs that don't smell. You talk about you, but you don't sleep too much. Would you say 3 hours? I don't know. But my thing is, you know, it's bad, man. Like, it's sad to say, because, you know, you want to see entertainment, you want to see, you know, art, you know, and when motherfuckers is calling hip hop ain't hip hop no more, you know. I need that Lupe. I need some shit like that. Like I say, it's very few motherfuckers. But the same thing with that though, you know, them beats don't be jamming half the time. But it is what it is. You know, I guess I just gotta let it go. I guess it comes to a point in time where you just say, you know, you listen to some old shit, but you know, you listen too much of the old shit, you can play that shit out, you know. It is what it is. It's very unfortunate, man. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in the den this evening?
It's Edmund.
Edmund. What would you like to drop at the den this evening, Edmund?
So speaking about the Me Too movement, I feel like a lot of females are misinformed, especially through the media, and I think that's contributing to why females tend to report more rapes that aren't really considered the definition of what rape is.
Yeah.
I think, especially when they get mixed up between sexual harassment and rape, I think they intertwine, and that's where you get a lot of athletes that get into these situations where, you know, they may do something that they probably shouldn't, but they probably don't. They probably get reported for something that they didn't do because the female is encouraged to report everything, including something that may not be true. So
I can agree with you on that. To an extent, I could agree with you. But I think there's a lot of situations.
What do you mean by?
Huh?
What do you mean by an extent?
An extent, because like I say, I think that there are situations where, you know, like I said, I've seen it. I've seen niggas get out of line before, and sometimes I wouldn't say it was rape, but you can be harassment can be overly aggressive. But I'm not saying in the majority of situations it's not what it is. But I can agree with you as far as them getting it confused because, again, like I said, you know, you had the meet, and I always go back to this because the Aziz situation where the chick basically said she got Me Too'd because she said she didn't want to have sex, and then so he stopped. They didn't have sex, and because he didn't rub her hair or something like that to make her feel more comfortable after they were sitting on the couch watching TV. You just basically said you didn't want the man to engage with you physically, so he thought he was doing the right thing by not trying to forcibly touch you or do anything like that. And then, you know, a couple of days later, even after you talked to him and said everything was cool, you decided that it wasn't. So I can understand that. I know there was a situation a few years back that had happened at a certain location, and I just so happened to not be there that night. But there was a young lady who had decided she wanted to engage in some debauchery with a group of young men. And, you know, so it was what it was. Then the next day, you know, she left and she was cool. When she was cool when she left, because I think I was actually coming back around the way whenever she was leaving out. And then all of a sudden, I guess she gets picked up by a friend or whatever, and, you know, she telling them what happened. The friend decides to, no, you didn't want to do that. You were raped. That's what that was. You were raped. And you don't even know it. And then basically pumped her head up into thinking, you know, that she was raped when she was the willing participant in whatever situation it was. And then it caused a bunch of drama in that whole scenario. You know, nobody got in trouble or anything, because I think ultimately everything got resolved and the truth came out. But what it was is she was more embarrassed that she did it and after the fact, and then told her friend about it. I guess her friend she thought her friend was going to be okay with it, think it was cool or something. I don't know. But she then, so, you know, since she was embarrassed, she wants everybody else to suffer. That's how a lot of this stuff happens, you know, in the time that sometimes women get inebriated and they are engaging in certain things, or they may, you know, be in the mood or in the moment then, and then, you know, later on they feel bad about it because an outcome didn't happen that they expected to happen from that situation. And then they want to seek some kind of revenge for them feeling bad because they feel like they were embarrassed, or now they're thought of as a hoe, or their reputation has been smudged. So they want to take it out on everybody else who may have been involved or whatever it is. So like I said, I can agree with you the majority way. I just think there are certain situations where sexual harassment can borderline be kind of rapish. But again, that's a small percentage. But yeah, I can dig what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I understand from your point, but, you know, I just feel like most women get the two mixed up, especially since rape is such a horrible crime that happens. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen or that it doesn't exist, but I just feel like people, like, especially the Me Too movement, I don't understand, like, what their definition of rape is. Because everyone has, like, their own definition. So
Okay, and I agree
But
with you. Because I've seen some of these Me Too people say certain things. Like it was an article that a woman said, you know, man, there's been times I've had consensual sex that she said it was consensual, that she wanted to, and then, you know, sometimes, you know, weeks or months later I look back on it and kind of wish I didn't. Not saying that she didn't enjoy it or whatever it was, just because the encounter may not have went the way she wanted to. But it was consensual at the time, but then that she wished she didn't, or shouldn't have maybe thought about it or whatever. And people come on her post talking about, oh, you were raped. You don't even realize you're raped. And that type of fucking conversation will, a weak-minded person will get infiltrated by that and start believing that. And it's a lot of women who are out there like that. And then again, there are some women who are very manipulative and they are smarter than, I won't say smarter, but they are a little bit more conniving than other women, and they know women's weaknesses because they are a woman, and they know how to use the right language, the right lingo. And again, with a movement being a thing that people want to be part of, they put them in this. See, you're a part of this too. See, you were affected by this too. You didn't even realize it, and start, you know, fucking with their heads, you know. And so then they start becoming this, yeah, I was raped too, and I was this too. And because they start believing that any encounter that they had, like, they're not being held accountable for choices that they made too. And that's my whole thing. It's just being accountable for what you do. If you were in the wrong, be accountable for being in the wrong. If you did something and you were with it then, but then later on you're like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Well, you have to be accountable. Hey, well, at that time, you know, I wasn't thinking smart and I did it. So, well, I won't do it again, you know. But again, you people don't want to be responsible for what they did, and so they want to put the blame or have somebody else to put the blame on, so they don't have to feel like they were ever wrong or they were ever making those mistakes. And so I find that very unfortunate. But it's a lot of that. Heidi, you don't trust men in the first place.
I agree, though. At the end, I just want the real criminals to get their justice served, instead of having innocent people, suffer the consequences.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Like you said with the Keith Munford situation, where, you know, he had nothing. He was innocent, and he still got, you know, his life pretty much ruined by someone's accusations. Exactly. So that's kind of my opinion on the whole topic. So.
All right. Well, that's about it, man. I appreciate you calling in, and I'm going to expand on that a little bit.
I love you, Brandon.
I tried to be quick with it. I tried my best to. He slipped it in. Usually it's a forewarning. Yeah, I tried. I couldn't stop him. He got me. I was trying to get ready. That's why I was adjusting. I was trying to get ready to stop it, and I couldn't do it. But I tried to stop it. I was trying to unlock everything. The phone had locked up on me real quick, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. But again, like I say, man, but there are people who get their lives ruined. And again, there are a lot of guys who've gotten away with shit. But my thing is, that's how reporter shut up after that. Nah, yeah, nobody care about Derrick Henry. Couldn't do that shit versus the Texans. You know, and again, like I say, there's always going to be situations on both sides, man. And so you got to be careful. Yeah, because it's easy. I got a button I can mute myself, but the call is a little bit different. But you got to be careful, because again, you can get put into a situation, and honestly, the fucked up part about it is it's not on the quote unquote victim to prove that you did it. It's on you to prove that you didn't do it. I saw a situation. I want to say it was a kid at USC, and the fucked up thing about it is that they were still deciding whether or not he'd be able to come back to school. I think like an Indian dude or something like that, basically. And he found footage of at the bar and back at the chick's room. And again, it's always when women get around other women. You know, when women get in their little herds, they start doing weird shit. So basically, what happened is the dude was at the bar, and you see this chick, she's all over him. Like, he's not the one aggressive with her. She's like all over the dude. Like, all, you know, she was on the bar. She got off the bar, all on him, kissing all on him and shit. and Eskimo sister. And then, you know, like you can see some footage outside. You know, he's kind of standing to the side. She's coming over to him. She's all over him. Then you see they get back to the dorm room. She signs him in as a guest. She dragging him by the hand, all that other shit. Took him back up to the room. They end up having sex, whatever. Next day or so, she basically, I don't know if she's talking with the roommates or whatever, they tell her that that she was raped, or she talking about she was raped or whatever. So they go back and find all the footage from that night and all that, and she was the sexual aggressor. I don't know if she got in trouble for it or not. You know, nothing ever happens to the women generally. But basically, they dropped the rape charges on him, which is fortunate because I think I don't know if he was trying to be a doctor, he was trying to get into med school or what exactly it was, but he was trying to do something, you know, upper level professional. And, you know, he could have been ruined for what? For doing what human nature, having sex? Like, that's what people do. People like to fuck. And the fact that the motherfucker gets embarrassed, let the alcohol get the best of her ass. You couldn't handle her fucking liquor, apparently. Embarrassed that her friends found out she brought some dude back and she was having sex with him. And they want to fucking holler rape, man. That's disgusting. And I feel like that, yeah, whatever the rape charge, it should be an equal charge for falsely fucking the victim. Of the victim is always the same. Yeah, he did nothing. Because if you watch the video, it's like, it's a situation, it looked like, because I mean, it was plenty of footage. And it looked like one of those situations where you're like, well, fuck it, I'm going to take the easy win. I mean, you know, shit, go ahead and scoop and score, man. But I mean, it was like she was throwing it at him. Because he didn't even seem like he was really all at it to her at first, but he was like, fuck, it's getting late. Might as well, you know, because that bitch was all over him. But my thing is, like I say, you know, he the guy is just, yeah, he's just a gentleman. He was a young gentleman trying to do the right thing. He was ruined by society. He'll never. But why is it the victims are always angels? Why are the victims always on the women? They never do it. They're virgins. It's always virgins that get raped, right? So, you know, there's that. That's if they get charged at all. There was a bitch, fucking black chick, held a motherfucking ex-boyfriend up at knife point. Fucking 19-year-old bitch, already on probation. Got 5 more years of probation for making him to make him have sex with her. With a fucking, like, you know what I'm saying? Fucking shit. He wasn't pussy like that. Pussy was on patrol. Like, that bitch was out there hunting. She was trying to throw it on him. She's like, yes, medical doctor in the future. Yes, you're mine. But my thing is, what happens? 5 years probation. Like, if a man held a woman at knife point and forced her to have sex with him, it's not going to be 5 years of probation. Unless you're a fucking nobody. What is it, the fucking humping bodies behind the dumpster and shit. If you have a little bit of influenza. No, affluenza. Well, you probably have both. Affluenza, if you're fucking behind the fucking dumpster, you probably gonna get influenza. So, again, you know, it is what it is. You know, anyway, we still haven't solved how to help the women climb back up the corporate ladder. But it is what it is. But here's the deal, man. I appreciate y'all. It's all good and all fine and dandy. But again, I'm finna get ready to wrap it up. Millions? That's too much. Maybe a couple of thousand. But again, now I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up because maybe actually 1 hour and a half, a little bit longer than I thought. Probably have a mixture tomorrow. I gotta decide. Like I said, I gotta really decide what's the future of the mixer. So like I say, we'll get it all together. But I appreciate y'all for joining this evening. And we'll probably be back at it tomorrow in the den. And again, with that being said, hey, I appreciate all y'all. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. On the Eastern Front? What is that? What does that got to do with America? You know, times. We're talking about America. Did that happen in America? I have no records of it. So, with that being said, y'all be cool. Jared, what's the motherfucking deal, man? Good to see you. Did you the package drive and everybody? Yeah, if y'all had some packages on the way, I hope y'all got those. I know a couple of y'all hollered at me and said y'all got them, so I hope that y'all got everything. Make sure when y'all get those, tag your boy in the dilly. I'll let me look it up. I'll send you the tracking number here in a bit, and I'll let you know. I got you. We'll see what's shaking. I got the tracking number here somewhere, and so I'll send it to you. But again, like I said, with that being said, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Interesting. 335. I'll have to check the tracking on that one also. But that being said, like I say, we'll be back at it tomorrow. We'll be back in some sauce and all of the good stuff. But chunking up the deuce. I'm out. Back at it mañana. Maybe, possibly. Kenneth ain't in here, so we can I can politely escort y'all out the door this evening. I appreciate y'all joining me. And adios.